intention is to create safe, transformative spaces where real growth and connection happen. Book me to speak or facilitate something amazing at yourpivotalpoint.com.
Tune into the Dr. Diane Show, where we explore revolutionary expansion of mind, body, and soul every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. I bring over 20 years of expertise as a mindset warrior, perspective shifter, and unshakable optimist dedicated to helping you reach your wildest dreams in business, health, performance, and relationships. Join the discussion on the show. Learn more about me, Dr. Diane, and receive a free digital copy of my magazine at naturalnutmeg.com.
You ever feel it? That whisper.
Are you ready to reclaim joy in your life? Why joy? Why now? Welcome to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei, your joy guru. While the world looks like it's at a breaking point, burnout, stress, isolation, and overwhelm dominate the headlines. Within all this, there's a longing for something deeper, something that heals beyond the mind. Joy fuels health, sparks expansive thought, aligns us spiritually, and connects us to one another. Join me as I weave astrology, intuition, and modern psychology to ignite your soul's highest alignment. Each week I sit down with luminous guests who embody joy as a spiritual path, a creative force, and a way of life. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into the joy. Because when joy rules, transformation becomes inevitable.
Wizard of Oz. You love Wizard of Oz.
Are you ready to reclaim joy in your life? Why joy? Why now? Welcome to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei, your joy guru. While the world looks like it's at a breaking point, burnout, stress, isolation, and overwhelm dominate the headlines. Within all this, there's a longing for something deeper, something that heals beyond the mind. Joy fuels health, sparks expansive thought, aligns us spiritually, and connects us to one another. Join me as I weave astrology, intuition, and modern psychology to ignite your soul's highest alignment. Each week I sit down with luminous guests who embody joy as a spiritual path, a creative force, and a way of life. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into the joy. Because when joy rules, transformation becomes inevitable.
My Playmates for the Soul. I know I say this every week, but I feel like a kid in a candy store. I'm wearing a heart on my chest to celebrate the Leo energy, because now the sun in the sky, whether you have Leo energy or not, is in Leo, the most generous, heart-centered, playful, childlike, joyful. Joy is a Leo construct. So we are in Leo season now. And not only that, but the planet Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, growth, optimism, expansion, the meaning and purpose of life, or as I love to say, the contract with God in the universe, which spends a year in each sign. And you've heard me talk a lot about that Jupiter was in Cancer. Very emotional the last year for a lot of folks. A lot of stuff around nervous system regulation all of a sudden, right? Well, now Jupiter is in Leo, which means it's time to take your stage, whoever you are in your life. It's, in other words, here I am world. And you know that thing that we say sometimes, you know, maybe some of us grew up with, someone said to you, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Well, who do you think you are? It's time to be who you believe that you are. Because Leo is about shining. It's about knowing that you are the light of the world. We are all the light of the world to shine in our own unique way. And that's what I love about Joy Rules and the guests that I share with and that share with all of you, because I'm picking each guest according to the cosmic weather. I'm sure some of you figured that out, but I don't know that I've ever said it. So my luminous guest in the nest for this episode is my good friend, Sonia Nielsen, whom I have known for probably about 30 years. And I have to just tell you, and this is the beauty of astrology, because again, Leo is the sign of joy. Sonia is a Leo. Her rising sign is Leo. Her Venus, you all have Venus in your chart. Venus is what you love. People that have Venus in Leo, they love love. They love to love. And so in the years that I've known Sonia, and mainly in a health capacity of, it's always been about joy. So with that said, Sonia, welcome to Joy Rules.
Oh my God, Laura. I love this. We've gone down so many. I'm looking at the road here, The Wizard of Oz, and it always reminds me of you because you have always brought joy, no matter what you've gone through, you've always brought joy into your life. And me as a Leo, I want to experience it fully now because I know my cells want to vibrate to the light, to joy, to experience what they call the golden years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they call them the golden years? They don't call them the gray old crackety years. They call them the golden years. I'm ready to put on my gold jeans and dance for everybody. I'm telling you.
Well, what I love about this for you is that you have written a book on youthing, and youthing, because I was re-listening to watching our connection call earlier. Youth, that's about Leo. That's Leo energy. So here you are, and I think I sort of went to bed, was thinking about your chart. You're born with, as we've talked about many times, you're not just Leo. You're born with the planet of power and transformation and healing and regeneration, Pluto, next to your sun. Well, that can be someone that really their whole life is about becoming comfortable with the power that they have, the power that they wield. And because you have Virgo energy in your chart, which is about being of service, I was thinking about this earlier. Leo doesn't give a crap about service. That's not Leo's job. Leo's job is to show up, and you do it everywhere you go, open-hearted, ready for the experience. But again, for you, that whole health, the service. So this decision that you made, whether it was, subtle or over time, immediate or over time, of no longer wanting to address the dis-ease with people, but instead focus your energy on living more fully, living more vitally. Will you speak to that?
Yes, this was a big aha, okay, because I was always really, the Virgo side of me would be like into research and study. And if you had a particular issue, I'd go back into the old manuals of the old naturopathic doctors about, what to do. We had retail stores, and one of the girls in the retail store had cancer. And I spent 3 or 4 nights researching it, about her particular cancer. And I would take some things on so intensely because I knew transformation could happen and miracles exist, and natural healing is a power that I know personally. And that's why I wrote the book also, to just share with you that natural healing is a power. Once you align yourself, right? Once you align yourself with the joy within inside of you, or connecting with your God force to lead the way. But now I found it like, okay, what about me? The Leo was like, okay, what about me? And I'm like, yeah, what about me? Well, I had cancer 2015, and I had to walk through the valley of death in order to come out on the other side. And as you know, Lorelei, sometimes we have to process these emotions. We don't just go from angst to complete joy and vibration all in 1 second. Sometimes there's a process in this life. So that cancer took me into a process, and I was sitting on the couch, and I did everything that I knew. But there were these, and you would love this being from New York, there were these great ladies being filmed with all these fun outfits, and they were 85 and 90 years old, and they were having the heck of a good time. And I thought, that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wear because as an older person, you can wear fashion, you can have fun. And I said, I'm going to put on those gold jeans. And I said this 10 years ago, and I'm going to get up on stage and say, you can too. You can too, if you know your why. What is your purpose? And if you don't, cultivate it. And that's part of the reason why I wrote the book Youthing, is how do we cultivate it? You know? So that's in the book. And
Well, and what you say, let me see here. I don't have the lights on very well, but I guess I got to put my glasses back on. Um, you say on page 91, you're talking about the different ways to cultivate joy. I mean, to cultivate health and longevity. We cultivate joy, the often forgotten nutrient that tells the nervous system you are safe. Will you speak to that? I read that earlier and I said, I got to ask her that because that's important for everybody to hear.
Well, everyone's talking about nervous regulation right now. It's Tai Chi is all over TikTok and Instagram, and I'm glad it's come back because my book doesn't only say youthing, that's the intention, but the ancient rejuvenation practices and the science of longevity. So with the nervous regulation, people are wanting another way out because they're overstimulated. So everything is overstimulation, everything. The cities, the networks, the social media, we are hooked. Okay, the gambling, the overeating, the overdrinking, all this messes with your nervous system. And so your dopamine receptor sites are blown out and you really don't know how to calm down. Now, things that I introduce, are 5-HTP, which is a nutrient to help build natural serotonin. There used to be a book called Potatoes Not Prozac, written by a wonderful researcher on developing serotonin. Serotonin is your natural calming nervous system. Now, if you want joy, you want to maybe have a little oxytocin and things of that nature. But so you want to cultivate, good, healthy habits. And that's what Dan Buettner has brought into the limelight about the longest living people are in the blue zones. And he goes all over the world to Okinawa, to Greece. I carry a Greece to people in Sicily, not Sicily, but a part in Italy. And he studies these people and Costa Rica. And he studies these people, and like the Okinawas, they have such joy. They go as a community. It's not just the diet, it's not just the air, it's not just the water, but it's community. And you know that because you're involved in a great community. And the old ladies or the old men, they play their games after they've gardened at 88 years old. They've done a full day of tilling their garden, and they bring their fresh vegetables and they sit and they play these games. I don't know what type of games, and they drink tea for hours. And then the Sicilian or the Italians, they dance all night. And the Greeks, they dance all night. They really do. They come together as a community after they've done their day's work and they dance. So that's where Dan Buettner has been saying it's not just they do eat a lot of plant foods. It's not vegetarian, but it's a plant-based diet, and that's what I basically promote. And that decreases inflammation of the brain. So if you're eating those fast foods and you don't feel good, well, that's why, because you've got inflammation of the brain and the gut and everything else. But so I've sort of followed in Dan Buettner's footsteps, and then I have two other scientists I follow, and so that's in the book.
Well, what I find so wonderful is that here's the planet of expansion now in your sign, in Leo, which means everyone again gets to expand their creative self-expression and open their heart and the generosity and all those things I said earlier. But for you personally, having Venus there and then the sun much later, because you're born like August 22nd, the last day of the sign, that the universe now, because this is a 12-year cycle, so this is not something that happens every day, you have this opportunity for this beautiful tailwind, for like being like the angels picking you up and just taking you to wherever. Because you recently were telling me that you spoke at was it a retirement home?
Yes, there was in Decatur. It was fabulous. And it was
how did you just encapsulate for us? So these people are how old?
55 and up communities, which I'm going to be going to all over. Wherever God is sending me, I'm going. I am going. So a wonderful friend of ours, I won't mention her name right now, but she's a co-creator and an artist and just loves to, she's a part of the example of joy, and creating and youthing and all of that.
Now, who is this? You have to say who this is.
Can I tell you?
Sure.
She may be watching. Karen Thompson.
Oh, Karen Thompson, who is a Leo.
And she's fabulous.
Yes.
And she brought everybody. And she helped me. And it was at the Christian Towers down in Decatur. And what I didn't know was that there were big speakers already you could hook up. I brought a little speaker because I wanted to play my music by Patti LaBelle. I got a new attitude. And there were all these balloons already set up like a stage. And I was like, oh, this is perfect, And I had only had an hour. And so it was boom, bing, bam, boom. But it flowed. It had energy. There was like 25 people. 10 of them bought books afterwards, and I signed them. And I told them, if you have any real questions, I'm not focusing on the disease. I'm not doing consultations. But if you have a specific question, I'd be glad about vitamins. I can, I have 25 years, and I can I'd be glad to, reply. So, but it was just a fantastic experience. And they told her, what a great speaker. We want her back. Where is she now? It was just so much fun.
You know what just occurred to me as you were talking? By shifting this, your trajectory, in other words, from dis-ease to more vitality, longevity, joy, whatever that's unlocking your power. Like
unlocking the power.
Yeah.
That's unlocking the power because
I can feel it.
It was a God shot.
Yes.
It was one of those, oh my God, I've been focusing on disease.
And it's so interesting because I know a couple of other folks that are in that same venue, same thing, I'm not going to focus on the what's wrong anymore or what's not working. I'm going to focus on how we want it to work. So, so I love this for you. And as we talked about, you have significant Sagittarius energy in your chart. The moon, Saturn, and those of you that have Sagittarius energy, Sag is the teacher, the salesman, the traveler, the wanderer, the marketer, the eternal optimist, all of that. So again, you are teaching that, you've always been teaching. I've always learned from you for 30 years. But now it's like the teacher and the joy is coming together.
Well, so this is what I just wanted to say this to you. So I looked up something on one of our media things, and I found this about joy, and I thought, well, this is perfect for you, and I'll send it to you, Lorelei. But it says, is that joy is a natural expression of a life that is in alignment. It isn't something we chase. It is something that emerges when our body, mind, heart, and spirit are working together. And who knew it would take this long? I mean, we've both known each other. We're both experiencing this co-creation, regeneration, just all the REs, re-energizing ourselves,
yes.
Reinventing ourselves. And it's just really exciting. And you've gone down some tough roads yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's like every day I'm learning something about joy. In other words, whether it's, again, every time we smile, we're in joy. Even if, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're smiling, you're in joy, even if it's only 30 seconds. So I find this really so fascinating, and especially having known you so long, and what I see in you that I see in me, I guess there's a mirror here, because of what I was just going to say to you is, it's like all these things that you've done have come together now and have coalesced. And it's like your trajectory. I mean, like I said, the fact that you've shifted your focus from the dis-ease to the vitality is so, I would use an expletive, but I won't use it on the air. That is so amazing. I mean, in terms of, because that's all it takes. It's a shift in perception. You just shifted your perception from dis-ease to vitality, longevity. And that's all of us, is to change our mind, right? That's why our thoughts don't mean anything.
Right. And sometimes I believe, for me, I believe in grace. I believe grace isn't positive things can't be forced, negative things shouldn't be forced. I believe it's been a long wait, for this switch, like turning on the switch. But it has come. And now it's like it's a trajectory like your joy movement that can take you wherever it needs to take you, and it's unlimited. And I'm always going, what is this abundance thing, this unlimited thing? They're materialistic. I'm thinking these people that are always talking about this. But now when you get it internally, you got to have it the mind, body, spirit alignment of your truth. Yeah. And you've done that. And we're doing it together, Lorelei, and it's wonderful that we are. It's really nice to see this. And like people like Karen, and I've got a friend named Troy, if he's listening, he's like redoing his whole world as a garden. And he looks younger than he did 10 years ago because he's out there at a certain age, and he's lifting trees and planting palms, and he's not living in Florida like he wanted to, so he created this beautiful oasis of the tropical paradise in his backyard. And we can do it. You just have to tune into what really makes you happy, what resonates with you.
Yeah.
I have 8 principles that I base my lecture on. The first one is sleep, and I'm going to do that on Instagram, probably just take each principle, but that's what I'm going to be bringing into my speaking engagement. But the 8th principle is know your why. Why do you want to be here?
Yeah.
You got to know, is it your grandchildren? Is it because you want to all of a sudden become a fashion designer? You want to paint? What is your why? You got to have a why to wake up in the morning.
Well, and I feel that the why unlocks itself or presents itself, or it's easier to see the more we know who we are and understand our cast of characters, which is what I call all the planets. If I'm owning all the qualities, of those energies, the things that are less attractive, less conscious, and the beautiful things, that's where the joy is, because then I'm accepting and loving myself in a place that I just naturally want to share that and extend that to others. And I mean, what feels better than shining your light, being who you are? I'm saying this to you and to everyone, being who you are and being in service to others. I mean, that's what it's all about.
But it's authentic. It's authentic.
Yes.
We went through the whole genre of positive thing. You and I have, we could do a show on that. 40 years of metaphysical, the New Age, New Thought movement, affirmations, manifestations, whatever it is. But the work that we have done, and what, I think this is something also in the truest sense of the golden years. I really believe this was God's intention for us to become older. They talked about wiser. Why can't we be older and more joyful and more limber and healthier than we ever were before? And we can show that. That's my intention for myself.
I love
and I'm
it.
wanting to share that, I'm getting healthier every day. And the reason you guys, while I post my vegetables, you kept saying to me, are you cooking?
Will you cook for me?
I'm like, no, I'm not a chef, but I'll come over for you any day. Is because when I'm cleaner, when I'm lighter, when I'm using the philosophies that I'm embracing and I'm affirming them and living them, when I pick up a purple cabbage and I get excited how beautiful this thing is, I'm not on any medication. I just it vibrates,
Because
so,
you know how good that is for you, correct?
and it's alive. It's alive, So I've always been a proponent of the live food movement for healing. Not everybody can do it 100%, but embrace it. Embrace the polyphenols, the antioxidants, and as much life, because that is where the life force is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you're going to get electrical energy.
What I think is so beautiful is I think you're going to have so many opportunities are going to come to you to be in service to addressing the Virgo part of you that bring you so much joy. Like, oh my God, I can hear you saying, "Oh my God, I get to go there. I get to go there and speak, and talk and share." Because again, Jupiter's in Leo now until next summer. Then from the summer of 27 to the summer of 2028 in Virgo, which means your communication is going to expand. And then Jupiter from 29 to 29 will be in Libra. So, which is your Jupiter. So, this whole, and I find myself wanting to say, I wonder why do they call it the golden years? Well, where does that come from, by the way? I mean, I love the way it sounds, but what is it? I mean, what does it really mean?
I need to look it up. It sounds Greek. I don't know, like the golden years, like somebody like, but I'm guessing. But that's a good question. See, we're going to go deeper.
What's interesting?
Out there posted if anybody knows.
Yeah, the golden years. But what's interesting is Jupiter's in Leo. Leo is the gold. It represents gold among other things. So it's kind of interesting that we're talking about, the golden years. And of course, a lot of it is.
The new thing is gold and white. I mean, that's what.
And then gold, right?
Yeah.
So, I love the fact that you allowed yourself to do what was it, Gold Sneakers and the Patti LaBelle song, The New Attitude, because again, the more joy any of us vibrate in, we are affecting the whole planet. It's not just about the self. It's about everyone that is so you doing that, because you were guided from your heart. It wasn't like some ploy. Oh yeah, you should put on some sneakers and play a song. I mean, it's great guidance, but it came from that part of you. It came from that, didn't it? I mean, like something that would be fun.
I don't know why I'm talking about it here, but I guess because I watched this show on Netflix, The Big C, and they had this joy guru type person counselor, and I'm like, they didn't call him the guru, so you've got that, Lorelai. Was a joy, lady, and so this word cancer has come up for me, I guess, since 11 years, and once I went through the valley of death in my mind and in my spirit with a person who helped me, and I was free of fear. I went in because I did integrative medicine. I did everything natural and raw and juicing and enzymes. And I also did some traditional therapies. And when I went in for those traditional therapies, they thought I was nuts. But I had Patti LaBelle, and I'm like going in like this. I got a new attitude, and then I did Tina Turner, Nutbush City Limits, and then like, and because I did a lot of radiation, and I was like, okay, Star Trek, beam me up, baby, and they're just like, where did she come from? Because the fear had gone, and then I had the top 5% of no side effects, none. He was like, I've never seen this, only maybe in less than 5%. And at one point, I thought I was going to go that way and help others that were, doing treatments and stuff. But this is so much more fun. I love this. God knew more than I knew myself about what I needed to do. So
and again, just the trajectory of putting the joy of yourself first, and then the being in service. Because you're always. I mean, I've known you 30 years. You're in everything you've ever done. You've always been incredibly in service, always. So I can see. Because Virgo is about devotion and dedication. So again, that's that part. It's the priestess. It's the priestess energy.
Right. I care about people the same way as I cared before. I'm just allowing myself to care about me right now and to say it's okay after all these different years to have a little fun, to live my truth and I've always been a miracle-minded person. And, I'm open for the miracles. I really am. And you've got, the Wizard of Oz. And truthfully, if you feel it and live it and be it, why not? Right, Lorelai?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
It's synergy. And as you know, we can get into, synchronicity where license plates are saying, hey, go for it. And, everything else, because the universe will support us once we really have made a decision to know who we are and where we're going,
And I can't wait to watch where you're going. We're right at the end of our time together. We're going to have to do this later on as you progress on your journey to youthing and helping others with that. I am so grateful to you, Sonia, for all the years that we've known each other and for all the beautiful gifts that you've given me and so many people in your life. And for all of you out there, I promise you, if it's going to sound weird, but if anything you're getting involved with or anything, if you ask yourself, will this bring me joy? If you say no, don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it, because it will. But if you can say, yeah, this would bring me joy, and it might be something totally that you never even thought about before, those are the breadcrumbs to follow. And this is Leo season, and Jupiter's in Leo, and my beautiful Leo friend, thank you, thank you, thank you. And for all of you out there, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars.
Thank you for listening to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei Robbins, your joy guru. If this episode sparked something in you, don't keep joy to yourself. Share and spread the light. Tune in the second and fourth Friday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Transformation Talk, where together we reclaim joy as the foundation for transformation. To dive deeper, visit me at joyrules.com. And remember, joy isn't optional, it's essential. And visit joyrules.com for lots more joy. Until next time, keep choosing joy and join the joy revolution. And until we connect, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars.